So, welcome back, everyone. Thank you for joining. Thank you for staying tuned. So, okay, I have Uncle Sean here already, and I'm waiting for Auntie Modupe and Preniola to join so that we can continue the discussion. Okay. Welcome back, man.
Hello again.
Yes, so we are back. Okay,
We're
Preniola is here to join. Okay.
we were looking at insecurities.
Yes, ma'am.
And I believe the key to that is openness and communication. Talk about it. Let your spouse know what works for us might not work for somebody else. So if some other people are liberal, they're open spirit about some things. We need to understand what works for us. So we need to talk about it. I don't like your guy calling. I don't like this. I don't like that. We'll talk about it. We understand boundaries, but set the boundaries together. The same thing even with the children, picking children or talking to the children, whatever it's going to be, whatever the arrangement is going to be. We need to talk about it. We need to agree on it together. It's not about fighting. It's not about making an issue about it. One thing we need to really avoid is allowing our past to affect our present. You know, your S was an S for a reason. You don't want that reason to rub into today. You want to build a new memory like I started with. New memory with your new partner, new page. What you do now is what's going to determine your future. Your past has gone. What you do now is the tomorrow you want to remember. You want to open albums and look at it and remember, oh, yeah, we went to this place, or we did this together. And then I'm still coming back to children because it's wide. I think it's unfair most of the time when we go into a new relationship, we don't think of our children enough. They have their process of time. They need time to process things. They need time to deal with the exit of their dad or their mom. We can't just assume it may take some of them 1 year, 2 years to deal with it. We need to, even if it means counseling, they might not open up to us, but there will be things they will do in the house that will make us know they are struggling. Either we are getting negative report from school, or they're showing attitude at home, they're being aggressive. These are things that will let you know there's something deep inside eating this child up. And we need to try and break it down, to try and get it. Find, if you think, okay, your child will not open up to you, find somebody like I do with Brother Joshua, come and talk to Joshua. Find somebody that can talk to him, that can get to the bottom of it. I was able to get to the bottom of my son's problem through my cousin. My cousin spoke to him and was like, Auntie, you need to get this guy to see his dad. He never said that to me. I said, hey, is that the problem? Solution today. You understand? For his sake, we need to be able to do that for them. And when we're moving on, are they ready to move on with us? And the partner that is coming into your life must also understand that. If they don't understand that, they are not ready for that relationship to work. Number one, you are going through a process yourself. You might be able to move past it quickly, but as your child move past it, and is your child ready to accept the new person, you can't just drop it on them and say you don't have a choice. It's unfair for us to do that. But we need to give them time. Time heals all wounds, they say. We need to give them time, but bit by bit. Okay, I think he's all right. They might not even accept this person for their sake. They might accept this person because, oh, I like the way, since this person has been coming around, my mom is happier or my dad is happier. Okay, maybe this person is doing something positive. Let me be watching. Just as you are watching, your children are also watching this person. So it takes a lot of maturity.
More observant than we are because they are ones in love. They are not
You know,
class.
we cannot see, but they can see. Like when I had a discussion with my son about my new partner, he said some things, and it was like a hammer to my chest. Big, 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 big. You know, I use Ogboju as mom to overshadow the points he brought up. But I went to my room and I thought about it. So have I thought of this? Have I thought of this? I mean, they know they are not no, but they are not dumb, they are not daft. So we need to really, really bring them on board. And if there is no acceptance on both sides, if I have not accepted your children, if you have not accepted my children, there's going to be a problem. And that's just the truth. So, because if you're going into a new relationship, one of the main reasons you're going into is you want that father figure for your child, or you want a motherly care for your children. Except if your children happen to be with your mom, like Brother Shell's case is different. That's it, different cases, and we have to look at it differently. So he can decide, I'm marrying my children, they only visit, and it's easier. But when the child is with you and the partner is coming into your life with your child, with you, like if his wife, his ex, is going to be remarrying, whichever man that is coming into that game must know he's marrying those children as well. So it's a lot. And then there's you want to say something?
No. Okay,
I
I'm
wanted
sure.
to something you said about the reason one is getting married so that one can, I think it's one of the reasons one can have a father figure for the children or a mother figure. I think it will be a very, very wrong reason to want to. If somebody wants to marry or be with me because he or she wants a father figure for their children, you don't really have to marry me for me to assume that role in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
But assume that you want to marry me because you see something in me that you do not want to let go of, and you would rather spend the rest of your life with me. Not because I can still assume the role of you mentioned your son just now, Joshua. Joshua is my pal, is my paddy. I don't have to be married to you to be a father figure or an uncle or a friend to Joshua. In fact, we might even get along better if I'm not in a relationship with you, because then he can be real with me. As I'm talking to my mom's boyfriend, he can be real with me. And there are some people, women that I speak to, when my daughter reached a certain age and it became of women, you know what I mean? Not to be vulgar, like, as a man, I can't deal with it. I had to call a female friend to say, "Oh my, it's toting dog mountain shaking yo. Handle it. You know, how do I handle it?" And I got a friend back to her. So when they say I want to marry that friend so that she can help me with female matters with my daughter, it will be the wrong reason to marry. But of course, one should always have it at the back of one's mind that if I am marrying you and you have children, I am marrying you along with your children. And as much as I will not give up on my children ever, I must never give up on your children. Now, the reality is, I told a friend recently, and he didn't buy it. I'm like, nobody goes into a marriage with a hope of breaking up in 5 years' time. If you're going to marry this woman, that means you're marrying the children. They will become your children. The day you separate from this woman, have it at the back of your mind that you will still be responsible for these children because you have become their father or a father in their life. So I go to pick your children currently now from their mothers. The minute you marry this woman and you live with these children and they begin to see you as daddy, God forbid, but if you separate from their mom, you are still daddy. You still have to be there for these children. If not, you will be causing damage all over again, and they might not be able to recover from it. Separation causes a lot of damage to children. We don't see it in them. A child that is used to waking up middle of the night and crawling into daddy's room, dad, I'm having a nightmare. All of a sudden, daddy is not there anymore. Once you welcome that child back from school, they might be smiling and all of that. But they are able to cope because they still see daddy, albeit maybe 2 or 3 times a month. And all of a sudden now, daddy disappears yet again.
Hmm.
Secondly, they might never again recover from it.
Recover.
Now, talking
Exactly.
that are married and with children, I also have examples of people who have been into a relationship or marriage before without any children. Mostly those with relationships. And for whatever reason, they couldn't marry. I have a few friends that it was when we got to the UK that we, in Nigeria, we're all the same blood group, the same genotype. We're all, for some reason, all
Nobody cares.
dodgy test centers, dodgy test centers. We're all AA for some reason. It is only after we got to the UK and we started, this test and everything, that some started to discover that they weren't, they were AS and this. And the lady you've been dating for 5-6 years, all through uni, all of a sudden you both now to sit down and have very serious discussions and say, look, AS let's take chances in Sha. And for one reason or the other, you have to go your separate ways. Trust me, you have separate ways in the body. In the spirit, you have not. Now. So if I am to marry such a woman and she has told me her story, wisdom will expect of me that I should come to the realization that they are still good friends. I will probably remain good friends for the remainder of
forever.
That's true.
If I know I cannot undo so, and there will be times in my relationship where I will become second fiddle. Because if she's having an issue with me, number one, my rank me to number one, yes, two. She will go to that Kunle guy that she loves for 7 years of her life and never had an issue with except for their genotype. And she will go to Kunle to discuss me with Kunle. Kunle will become number one for that season. Until this issue is resolved, maybe then I will recover and become number one again. I must be wise enough to realize that will happen. If I am comfortable with it, maybe because of who I am, we must also understand that some that cannot undo some things, it's not because they are less of a man. I think there are all different categories of human character or nature or disposition. They will say some are sanguine, some are like the psychology. Reality is we must that we're all different. What you can take, I will not be able to take it.
Don't take it.
Can't take it, I walk away. If I can handle it, only then should I stay. Because they will continue to talk and tell me how such people will meet themselves at a gathering where all their old university mates will be there and they will not be glad to see one another and will possibly not hug one another and will possibly not stand in one corner of that living room or in the garden having a chat for a prolonged period of time. I should be mature enough to give them their space to talk and stand back. But if I know that's it, I am that kind of a man, I don't have such a disposition, then I will not go into such a marriage because Kunle would always be in the picture. But prayer would be that once David would not be a forever David. But Kunle would always be in the picture. So I don't know if anybody has a contribution in that respect.
Sir, let me just back up your point. It's a personal experience. In the year 1999, I met a lady about writing entrance exam to university. So we attended classes together. We liked each other as friends. I was one of the best in the class. And she was always seeking my advice, counsel on assignment and stuff like that. We got so close, I would have asked her out, but she was the most beautiful girl in the class and the most sought after. But within me, in my heart, I know I like her. And she's I think she came from the richest family in that class.
So it's not complex setting, Abby.
So a lot of people were going after her, and me, I had this issue. I don't go after women. I don't toast. I only show you I like you. I don't know how to toast people. Way back then, me, Monisio. You understand? But I only show you my qualities in the class. The best in literature, the best in this, the best in that. So if you have assignment, you come to me. Then we can start talking. That was my way of showing myself. And we got talking. And we parted ways. Okay, before we parted ways, one day she invited me over to her house. I saw the house. I was impressed. I was like, "Ah, me really." And I saw a cousin of hers. They were playing. I never knew at that time he was her cousin. They were just playing. I was like, get any boyfriend. And I stepped back. And that's one thing about me. When I know that you're in a relationship, I step back. And we got admitted in university. We lost contact, or we didn't contact each other. Years after this lady was married, I was also married. Okay. And she was happy we got connected again, and we're always chatting, blah, blah, blah. I told my wife about her. For you, I got married about 11 years after, but I still told my wife that you understand? Well, we didn't date. We had no contact. But because that person mattered to me as a friend, I told my wife, not knowing that she also told her husband. So when we started talking, we started chatting, my wife had issues with it. Her husband had issues with it. And she told her husband, according to her, you see, Eniola, he is not living, he is not going anywhere. You can do anything. That guy, I have looked for him for over 10 years. He has been my friend. You should accept him as my friend, because he's a good friend. We don't have anything together, and we won't have anything together. The same thing I stylishly told my wife. Any email affair, I have known her since 1999.
Stories.
It's difficult. Just wait till where I'm getting to. It is difficult. They were in their marriage for about 8 years or 7 years before I got married. Marry. You understand? And they had no issue. So they were going through crisis, and I was the only one that was consoling this lady.
Consola. Hey.
That hold on. Don't do this, don't do that. There were times where pressures are too much. But she found a friend in me, and she opened up with me. And I was there when she was down. It is difficult for a man to understand.
I hope you both don't live in Germany together.
No.
Good.
Terry, Emma,
Don't end up being a friend in deed and in need.
Cherry, I'm getting to a place. There are times we need to be mature, even in friendship. I always tell some of my female friends that Toba Borale, I won't be moved. Because I have accepted you as my friend and nothing more. It is maturity. It is difficult, but we have to develop our mentality. Everything comes from the head. It is just like if you have a female sister and you take a friend as a sister, what if she's in this position? What will you do? I've had a drunk friend, Obinri, that I had to carry home. And I dropped her at her home, and she stripped herself naked, and she was like, I said, no. The next day she was like, hey, Lela, who brought me? I said, I brought you. I saw myself naked. Oh, you were naked. I still put you on the bed. Like, there's no man like you. It wasn't that it was easy for me, but it was a decision I had to make. That this is not who I am, and this is not what I want to be remembered for.
Sorry, if I'm coming there quickly. I'm somebody like that. A man's nakedness has nothing to do. It doesn't disturb me because my emotion is not attached to it. But we cannot use ourselves singularly
to determine generally.
Because it's an open show. A lot of men won't take that.
Sherry, sir, I only digress for you to know. I only digress for you to know my kind of person. I have my weakness also, as much as I try to develop strength in my weakness. After a few years, this particular lady, they gave birth to twins. I'm sorry I have to discuss this, but not so long after they had an issue, the man was diagnosed to have cancer. They battled it, they spent a lot of money, and he later died. When the man died, I think I was still chatting with her, and she told me he's in the hospital, and she sent me his picture. And the Spirit of God in me told me this man is going to die. And that night, that man, I wept. I wept all night. That night, that man died. The next morning, she tested me, said, he is gone. I said, yeah, I heard it. I knew it. And I became a strength. I became a friend. These children now, they are grown, they're about 5, 6 years. When they are throwing tantrum, she will say, come and talk to daddy. As much as they know their daddy. I'm backing your point up, sir, bros, that I don't need to be your husband to be a fatherly figure. And I will talk to them and they will listen. The same way I tried to reciprocate that attitude to some 2020, I had time and I had chance. I was like, what will I use this time to do? There are single mothers around me, and I know that their children needed father figure. It's because me, I never had a father figure in my life. My daddy died almost 30 years ago, and nobody knew my pain. Divorce is another. When he's not there at all, it's another story. So I always tell people that if the man is still there somewhere, create a connection. Otherwise, you are leaving a hole in the heart of those children, and they will never open up to you. They will never. I have not seen my sons for 7 years. But if you want to spoil the mood of one of them, tell them, do you miss your dad? You understand? Just say, do you miss your dad? You have spoiled his mood. He didn't open his mouth to tell you that he's missing his dad. But just ask him that question. And that's how deep emotions are in the heart of the children. That when they see someone they can open up to, they will tell heaven and earth, and you'll be surprised that they know this. So if you are considering going into another relationship after having a child or an issue or children, consider the children first. Don't be selfish. If you need to fling, go and fling. Don't bring that man home. Don't bring that woman home.
That's right. Very, very important.
I'm a Christian. I preach godliness, and I also know my weakness. Even Paul said that he's also weak. He's trying. He has not gotten there. If I be a pastor tomorrow, I will tell you that even me, I still sin. No, I still look at a well-packaged woman and say, look at that backyard. Look at this. But immediately I will circle my brain. Don't think like that. You understand? So because we cannot read another person's mind, we think they are all sane. They are all thinking normal. We all have struggles. And in the middle of our struggles, we should be conscious of our environment. And when it has to do with children, they should be our priority. That's all I would say for this evening.
Thank you very much.
I want to say something because I got like 2 messages from different people on WhatsApp. Single ladies. They said, what's going on? That it's all about the married people today, that they want to hear what they can do, how they can move on as singles after leaving a relationship. So I still want you to go back so that you can relate with those who are single, please.
Okay, I think I started with that, and I've said a lot about that. So maybe they need to go and rewatch the part 1. But having said that, another thing again is this: get a life. It may sound a bit harsh. So it may sound a bit harsh, but that's just it. Live in the present. Make new friends. Go to church. Go to club if you're the club person. If you're not a church person, if you're a mosque person, go to the mosque. Get something that keeps you busy, keeps your mind engaged. Learn a new craft. Go to the gym. You know, you might not need the gym because you need the gym, but you need the gym to keep your mind busy. Because I don't know, but the irony of it is this, which happens to me is I get myself busy like crazy. Trust me. But the moment you hit your pillow, between the few minutes before you doze off, you will feel the impact of loneliness.
Very true.
That's the irony of life. You know, but then it's just a few minutes, you know, and then you sleep off. But during the day, you have so many things occupy your mind. Well, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to make food. So you understand? So even when those thoughts comes into your mind, it's just for a few minutes, but your activities take it off your mind again. And then, like I said earlier, self-respect. Believe in yourself. It's not over with you. You're beautiful, you're handsome, you know. Whoever left you is their lost, not you. They're the one losing something. You need to appraise yourself. Now, apart in as much as you're doing all that, like I said earlier, tell yourself the truth. Where did I mess up? Work on yourself. Be a better person. You cannot live in the past. Live on a daily basis. Live today and live tomorrow for God. That's my take on that.
Thank you so much, my Uncle Sean. You want to add something to that?
Uh, from a place of
From the
experience,
men's point of view.
it's so very easy for us to say to people, move on. And that is the right thing to do, really. Move on, fix forward. But reality, I like the analogy. We go to work, we get busy, church and other things. The minute you come back home, like the Yorubas would say, Doku atele die. You know, then everything will come like a mad rush. And it dawns on you that I am all by myself. And what I say to people, and this has helped me, is to take stock of the past. You see, it's easy for us to say, move on, forget the past, leave the past in the past, move on. But reality is there's a reason why the Yorubas àgbàlagbà wọ́n ní tàgbàlagbà bá ṣubú abojú ẹ̀yà wo tó gbé ṣubú. It's that you don't find yourself in that space again. Take stock. Ask yourself very candid questions. Some things you can't even be honest about with your closest friend, but at least you can be honest with yourself now. And ask yourself, Shemi Goni Modawa Laile. We've dated 6 years. This guy has walked out on me. Am I responsible in some sense for this? Where did I go wrong? Were the signs there, the pointers there, and I chose to be cavalier and to ignore them, and now it's biting me? Or as a man as well, was I the one that treated this woman bad? Did I do something amiss? Deal with that. Heal yourself. Then and only then can you start to move on. Because if you think you're moving forward, you're moving on, it will keep pulling you back. And unfortunately, you'll find yourself in yet another relationship. And it will replay itself. And unfortunately, as human beings, the defense mechanism, I was with me for years. This is what it did to me. I'm now with Tony for 7 months. I will make sure that Tony doesn't go anywhere. You now do everything to make sure Tony doesn't go, even take shit if you have to. You start to enslave yourself again. You were abused the first time. Now you are the one abusing yourself again in the second relationship. It becomes an unending cycle. And that's because you never dealt with the issue at hand in the first place. You know, we Africans, we don't like counseling. We don't like therapy. We think
that's my next one I wanted to talk about here.
Yeah, we think it's something unbecoming. But you know, just going for therapy, and you don't have to go and pay a paid professional. And it's not every time that, again, for some of us that people come to, it's not every time that somebody comes to you with an issue that you must provide a solution. In fact, just sitting down and letting them
open their mind
and helping the person to reason logically. It will go help that person to process all that they're saying so that they themselves can arrive at the logical conclusion, so as not to take the flow off you. I think I'll leave you to talk about that bit around, going for therapy and learning to deal with issues and not just sweeping them under the
carpet. Ma, before you go to that, let me quickly just say one thing. Let me clear one air about men. People would say, and there's this general assumption that women are the worst creatures God ever created because of Eve and stuff like that. But I would say that men are the worst creation God ever created. The problem started when God decided to create man. The problem started not when Eve came, when God created man. There was already a problem because Satan had already started making problem. Why did you do this? Why did you do that? So there was already a problem. And when Adam and Eve had issues, God did not ask Eve, he asked Adam. And Adam was the one who complicated the issue.
It is the woman you gave me.
You understand? He started making excuses. He didn't accept his fault. So always know that men, it is difficult for us to accept our fault.
Thank you very much. God blesses you.
That is number one. Then number two, let every woman know that every man will do his or her own best to entice a woman he wants. Every man. And that's why you will see a man who wants a woman would spend all his salary just to get that, not because he loves her, but because he wants just to taste the apple. He wants to be there. And once he's there, forget about it. His attitude will come. So if you as a woman didn't deal with issues where you're coming from before you jump into another, this guy is nice, this guy is fine, this guy is rich, you will fall into the same trap all over again. And that's where I'm going to support what Brashew is saying. That are the men the problem? Men are cunning. We are selfish. When it comes to relationship, we think about ourselves. We want to protect, we want to be all in all. But is this man good for you? Is this what you want? Consider it first before accepting even for a date. Before even eating a dime from his money. If he's inviting you for a date, order what you can pay for. If he's paying, don't worry. He said, don't worry, let me pay. Don't commit yourself. She understand? Because our koni, our laburu to let that alone. That I'm telling you from my own personal experience. We can deny it, but it is the truth. So you can talk about counseling, man.
Well, I was going to actually throw it as a question that how do I put this? Before and after, or generally in life even, dealing with family therapies, do we need it? How important is it? But like I think Rasha already mentioned that for African perspective, it's a difficult one. We're not really looking into that yet. A lot of people are, with openness, education, people are coming to that. But I will actually also, because I'm a certified coach, a little bit of advert, I suggest it greatly. Like even if I have any issues with my partner, I don't let go until I see an end to it. Because I don't believe in sweeping the dirt under the carpet. Like you about to say, if there is, the more we talk about it, sorry? But we have to resolve it. That's my point. We can't just overlook it. Let's talk about it. Let's deal with it. And it's okay. I don't want us to fight. We are not fighting. Okay, maybe tension is coming up. We'll leave it for a while. Take a cup of coffee. But I'm going to come back to it. I'm sorry. But if you think, okay, the two of you are not making headway, you are becoming both of you are getting edgy. Please, your proverb, I don't understand. Who help me with the parables? Oh, goodness me. If there is a fire in the house, on the roof of a house, you're not going to overlook it and leave it. You have to come out together, and stop the fire, or else the whole house will be burnt. That's what I meant with the proverb. Okay, so we need to deal with it, kill the fire, stop it, and then we can continue. But if both of you are being edgy, you're not getting to a conclusive point, agreeing, then somebody has to step in. Now, if we must say family is dangerous, I must say a friend is dangerous. I must say a pastor is dangerous.
Even more dangerous.
Why do I say that? Sorry?
Thank you, man.
Pastors are even more dangerous.
Yeah,
Ma, before you go on,
yes,
before
sir.
you go on, Ma, I wanted to chip in this. That one of the mistakes we make in Africa, in Nigeria per se, is having our pastors as our marriage counselor. I want to manage ilé wọn.
They have their issues. They also need
So,
advice. You know,
so, like you have just advertised that you're a coach, so people should go to people who are certified to
Yes.
do that.
you know.
Yeah.
So
So,
some pastors are also learning now. They are studying to be coaches and be therapists and all that. You know, but then because of their office, there are some things they are not going to be truthful with
of course, yeah.
because they want to be spiritually correct. You know, and they don't want to lose members of their church. So they have their own interest. You know, that's that. If you talk to a friend, how certain are you that this friend is going to be projective and is going to have your interest, going to be truthful, and not going to be one-sided, or is even maybe hear your part and see something else to your partner and even make things worse. So it's better when you have somebody who is neutral, has nothing to gain and has nothing to lose. It's an open field. So after ball, let us see the winner, and there's a referee. Putting it in another word. So a professional will be able to set the pace. So even when the tension is going up, a professional knows when to calm things down. You give you room, you speak your part, you speak your. He's a mediator. And at some point, the both of you might agree, you know what, I think I need a one-to-one. There's a different way coming together, and then sometimes we need a one-to-one. You might think, you know, I need help to deal with my jealousy. I need help to deal with my gambling attitude. I need help to deal with, you know, moving past my pain and my past. So you don't want to drag your partner along with that. You might want to do that on your own. So you need professionals. And it's also good, I'm speaking as a Christian now, if you're going to get a coach or a counselor, get one who is also a Christian. If you're going to go, try to get one maybe who is a Muslim, even though then it is not professional to put their religion into the practice, but they will also be able to understand where you are coming from. For instance, if I want to say a counselor, I say is it Caucasian? What's that English?
Caucasian, yeah.
I mean, let me use Oyibo. Oyibo will not understand where I'm coming from. And Oyibo will not understand African man. But African man, no, except the one that has reorientated themselves. An African man normally will not help you in the kitchen, except the one who is unique, different, who loves to cook, or who has reorientated themselves, or who wants 24/7, I want to be with my wife, I want to help my wife. It is not like a duty when the Caucasian believe, or maybe Monday to Tuesday, Wednesday, my wife is cooking, and then Wednesday to Saturday is the husband. You can't do that with African man. 24/7 is you cooking. So how is this person going to advise me or be able to help in our relationship? So even if as you're getting a counselor, as a coach, get someone who will be able to understand where you're coming from and will be able to guide you. And advertise myself. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Ma. Thank you so much, Ma. So any last words before we, you know, draw the curtain today? Uncle Sheo,
I think we attempted to treat this topic some few weeks ago, where we discussed about that a marriage or relationship is like a contract. There are terms and conditions, there are clauses that address how to deal with certain issues within that contract. Unfortunately, most of us go for marriage counseling in church, and all they will address in church: who is a virtuous woman, who is a man, yeah, a godly man, this is the reason God has. We agree with all of that, but it will not sustain a marriage when push comes to shove. So, and we also talked about the things we will agree on. I think we mentioned about even partners as well, dealing with partners, ex-partners in our marriage. How would we deal with certain situations? And if this thing gets out of hand and we cannot deal with it, what will be our next step? Is it to go for counseling, therapy? If all these things are not clearly addressed prior to the marriage, I like what you do, which is, what do I need to know before I say I do? These things need to be addressed and listed. And we keep a logbook or a catalog of some sort of it, which becomes like our reference material when we find ourselves in that space. I look at a contract. If my service provider, network service provider, is not meeting the minimum service required, the SLEs, there is a term that addresses what my rights are in that respect, and how I should go about getting remedy for it. So I would advise that before we start to think of marriage again, that is what I will definitely do. I will go to a shrink, a therapist, call them what you want to call them, and I will not go to a Nigerian therapist or a Christian. And I'll tell you why. Whether we like it or not, 2.5 decades outside of Nigeria, living abroad, some parts of me have changed.
No longer in Nigeria.
Whether I accept it or not, some aspects of me, they are
Like I'm the only Nigerian here, Steph.
Yeah, but you are not. It's not. You're not the only one listening. There are people watching from different parts of the world.
Of course, I know. I'm just talking about the gathering here,
wherever
like
you find
amongst the four of us.
Wherever you find yourself, let's say you grew up in Ekiti with your parents, and you've now lived the last 15 years in Lagos, you've lost a bit of Ekiti in you, and you would have imbibed a bit of Lagos, and you have plans to continue to live in Lagos, and you met your wife in Lagos. Come on, surely you cannot expect her to operate to the standards of an Ekiti woman, a woman that was
Exactly.
So if I will go for marriage counseling, I'm not going to go from somebody that is a conky kitty person so that he can see it from where I'm coming from. Consciously or unconsciously, the bias will be there. I live in a society where it is not the man's responsibility altogether to foot the bill on everything at home. It is to an extent a shared responsibility, however diverse the percentage may be. Yeah? It is. Even childcare. I cannot expect that my wife will be the one doing school run all the time. And ideally, it's not even right. Don't I want to have a relationship with my children? I want my children to show me off in school like my boy will do is my daddy. Don't I want my boy to feel proud and show off his father? People to know he has a father. Little things that matter. So one should go for counseling from people who are professionals. We will help the both of you address issues in your life. You mentioned earlier on, you alluded to child maintenance. It's a big deal, this part of the world. So you might think to yourself, my take-home pay, my salaries I earn after tax, £2,000. Oh, the Jewafo bring £2,000 here. 650 is going towards child maintenance. And actually thinks you are earning £2,000. You are not earning £2,000. All you can bring to the table at home is 1,350 because 650 has gone to child maintenance. It is by default. If you don't do it, you are in trouble. See, even finance, do we talk about finance before we go into marriages? We wonder why people will come up with prenuptial arrangements. And you say that to an African woman, okay, I don't mind marrying you, bringing you even from Nigeria or from Ghana or to take you somewhere else. But you've got to sign a prenup and you claim you love me and you want me to sign a prenup. You don't.
Sentiments.
How can I invest so much and I have children and I will be careless enough to allow a woman come into my life and I'll not build a hedge of protection around the assets for my children, protection for my children? How would I be so careless as to now say love has blinded me at this age and at this time, and I will not marry, and I will not think of making sure there is protection from my children? When we come to keep it all, and you tell me prenup is not important, it means I don't love you. You see, these are little things we need to talk to people about who will expose us to all these things and help us before we leave. I dare say 90% of those that are married today Had they gone through this process with a trained and certified counselor before marriage, would probably not be married today. They probably would not be married to one another today because some issues would have been addressed in the past. So really, so that we don't find ourselves in this space in future where we're having to have these discussions, my recommendation to everybody on this platform tonight is, especially those that are not married, make sure you go through proper counseling, not necessarily in church, but through certified counselors, professionals that will deal with issues in life. And if you've already found yourself in a marriage for years now, it's not too late to go and seek help to address some of the issues that are the burning issues in the home. And if, like some of us, you have already divorced, you still need therapy, you need counseling, so that you don't take that baggage into your new relationship. Thank you very much. We'll leave it at that tonight.
Thank you so much, Uncle Joe. Okay. Uncle, any last words for tonight?
I think Brashew has said a lot of things, and my sister here, let me look at the name.
Eken Ferris.
Eken Ferris.
As much as I accept your word so much, I think you are more of a woman side. And I like the fact that Brashew is here to talk of the men's side. So it is balanced.
Exactly.
It is balanced, and I appreciate it. One thing I also want to chip in is one fact that Brashew thought about when it comes to talking with somebody. The environment we live in matters a lot. And one of the greatest things that dissolves marriage easily now is somebody in Nigeria copying somebody in the US. Somebody in Ghana copying somebody in Europe. Do you understand? And you are listening to advice from your friend who let his husband go. And you say that, me too, I would do the same. Yamajeo. Your children will suffer, you will suffer. You understand? So if it is for you to seek for help while you are in Nigeria, go and seek for the help. And most times when we see couples that migrate and they now divorce, it's because there had been issues from Nigeria that they did not sort
out.
Solution. So when the woman or the man sees an advantage to elope, so like my own advice to support Brashew, if you are facing your challenges, go and sort it out. Go and seek for help. It is never too late to seek for help. Kneel down for your husband if it requires that. Prostrate for your wife if it requires that. Tell your partner, we need help. We have been struggling. Accept. To repent. Even biblically, to repent, you need to accept your own fault. So you need to accept that let us go and see somebody. Everything is not spiritual. Spiritual, out of all our problem, is 1% by default. And I will quote an example that will be the last. My son, I always like personal examples so that people will learn that we are all going through situations. For the past 1 year, he has been going to school. He won't complete his notes. If English is complete, maths will not be complete. If this is complete, the other will not be complete. I will now be fighting with my wife. She will like, I said, yes, because you are the gatekeeper. You are the one caring for those children. I cannot beat them from here. I cannot shout on them. If I shout on you, mount pressure. She will now mount pressure at the school. She will mount pressure at the school. The teachers will not do anything. There are just 15 in the class. I went to Igbebe College where I 150. The experience is different from when we are paying for 15 people in the class.
I see.
You see, that's why we are reasoning together. You understand? I said the experience is different. Now we have the money to pay for these things. We are paying for quality. We are paying for service. Let the school deliver it. My wife will come and say, Ogun kini let us pray. I will tell her, I'm not praying anything. You monitor that child. If she is here, she will listen. If you check the book every day, you will know that he did not write note. He said, how do I know? Call the teacher and say, note will call whatever. Monitor. So the bottom line is, if some things need attention, give it that attention. If it need discussion, give it that discussion. About 2 weeks ago, she now went to meet the principal of the school. She got there. She called me on voice call. I was listening. They were still dribbling. Omo yen, oh lazy ni, oh shekini kokini. And I said, now caught. And I said, let me speak with the principal. I said, is it difficult for a teacher to monitor a child? Tiko Kosheni class. They are 15. They said, okay, we'll be doing that. We'll be doing. My wife now left. The second day went to meet the owner of the school, complained. The owner was like, really? This is happening. They check all the children's book. No one of them has a complete note.
So it's not peculiar to your own.
So it is not my child alone that need coach prayer. So the bottom line is that if we check out ourselves, we see that all of us have issues. All of us. The 4 of us that are here live, that are speaking, we have issues, we have challenges we are facing.
Of course.
And we are dealing with it severally, independently. We might not come here to tell you what we are going through, but we are dealing with it. My auntie said something. He said, when it's just a few minutes before you fall asleep, you realize you are alone. About last 2 weeks, I thought to myself, I don't even know the smell of a woman. You understand? And this morning I told my wife, I said, do you know I've been having challenges for the past 2 weeks and you didn't even know? He said, really? Because you didn't tell me. I said, it's not everything we'll be able to explain. You understand? So we all go through challenges. But when the challenges come, deal with it. Don't sweep it under the carpet. Let your partner know what you're going through. You also say your own mind. If you cannot resolve it, meet a professional. God help us.
So really,
Amen.
it's a terrible thing for a couple alone and nobody beside you. You get grumpy for the remainder of the day, isn't it?
Yeah, speaking from experience.
Sorry for your hold on. Sorry for your hold on. Well,
see who is talking.
Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for always being there on this program. And I want to especially thank Auntie Mudukwe. You know, it's not been easy. At least you created tonight for me. Thank you. We really appreciate it. Uncle Eniola, thank you so much. Uncle Sean, thank you so much. Yes, God bless you. Okay, this brings us to the end of today's edition. And I also want to appreciate everyone who has joined today. I really appreciate you all. Please join me again, same time next week. We'll be having another topic next week. And please, if you're just joining, you can still go back to the previous video. Yeah, the previous broadcast is on this page. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. Bye.
thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome, sir.